Hello, Guardians! Welcome to the channel. This is my first attempt at a guide video, so all comments and feedback are welcome. And if you enjoy the content or take any tips from the video, a thumbs up and a click of the subscribe button would be greatly appreciated. Thanks and enjoy the content.
Today, we're going to talk about well skating slash shatter skating in Destiny 2. Specifically, we're going to talk about these pieces of movement tech and how to do them using a controller. Well skating is a technique that allows you to move faster than normal by using the Warlock's Well of Radiance super. Shatter skating is a technique that allows you to move faster than normal using the Hunter's Shatter dive. Both techniques will involve a sword with eager edge, or even better, a crafted sword with enhanced eager edge. There are only two swords currently that can be crafted with enhanced eager edge. Both are obtained from the Dares of Eternity activity. The first sword we're going to discuss is Half-Truths. Half-Truths is an arc adaptive frame sword, and there are a few ways to get one. You can run the Dares of Eternity activity and get one to drop. You can also get one from engrams at Xur in the Eternity location when you rank up. And the last option is you can get one from the chest near Xur using treasure keys. Treasure keys are obtained from Dares bounties and the Dares of Eternity activity itself. The other sword with Eager Edge perk is the Other Half. The Other Half is a void adaptive frame sword. It can be obtained in the same way from Dares of Eternity, rank ups with Xur, or the chest near Xur in the Eternity location using treasure keys. If you are planning to use the enhanced Eager Edge perk, which I highly recommend, you will need to get 5 Deep Sight Red Border versions of Half-Truths, or 1 Deep Sight Red Border version of the Other Half. The drop rate for the Red Border version Other Half is really low, but pray to RNG and you might get lucky. Once crafted, you will need to level Half-Truths to 11 to apply the enhanced Eager Edge perk. And if you got lucky and pulled an Other Half sword, then you will need to level that to 12 to add the enhanced perk. Once you have the sword, we will need a location to practice. I chose a private Crucible match since I can get my super and sword ammo anytime I need it. Here are the settings I chose when practicing. First, make sure you select Mayhem so you can get heavy ammo and your super quickly. Next, pick your map. Each map has several places to practice, but I started with Eternity for this video. Set the match time limit to the maximum. The score limit does not matter. Set the supercharge rate to the minimum. And you will set the respawn timer to the minimum as well. Okay, we have the weapon and the location. Now we need to make some keybind changes to make it easier to push the button combinations on controller. This part is optional, but I highly recommend it. I really struggled to get the timing down with the default buttons, but everything worked much more consistently when I made the following changes. We're going to start with the Warlock and what I think is the more difficult combinations to master, but also more rewarding since you will be on a Well of Radiance super. First, remap your super button to the B button on Xbox or circle on PlayStation. You will want to use the button right next to your jump button because you will be activating your super immediately after jumping. A heavy sword swing will be needed for activating Eager Edge, and I found it easier to use the heavy sword swing when I remapped it to the right bumper instead of right trigger. For the subclass setup, the only requirement is to be on Well of Radiance. I didn't find that the jump you use matters that much, but I typically use Balanced Glide. Now we are ready to practice. Quick note, do not be discouraged if you don't get it immediately. It took me around 5 minutes to get the timing right the first time, and after around 30 minutes of practicing, I could get it to activate correctly well over 50% of the time. The timing will need occasionally practiced. I find that if I don't do it for a week or so, I need to re-practice the timing. As with anything, personal results may vary. The final component of the setup, and the most important part, is your positioning on the map. I find it easier to do the combination from a standstill, but I know many people are able to do it while sprinting. I just find standing to be more consistent, so get in there and practice. For map positioning, you're going to set yourself about 4 to 5 meters back from an edge that is flat with no obstructions in front of it. Make sure you have heavy ammo and a full super bar. Once positioned, pull out your sword and heavy swing. Before you get to the end of the ledge, you're going to jump and then immediately super. The timing of the jump and super are very close together. When practicing, start with getting comfortable pulling out the sword and using your Eager Edge perk. Once comfortable with that, put in the jump and make sure you're at a distance where you're jumping right before the edge. Finally, add in the super right after the jump. Practice the initial steps, adding each piece along the way. Again, once you have the timing down, you will start to become more consistent. I usually practice this until I can skate 5 times in a row without a mistake. Then you're ready to try it in other content. So position yourself, swap to the sword, heavy swing, jump, super. Now let's move on to shatter skating with the hunter. The equipment setup is the same as well skating in that you only need an Eager Edge sword. For key binding, you will want to remap heavy swing to your right bumper instead of the trigger, just like the setup on the Warlock. You will also want to change the air dive ability settings to a button press instead of the default hold button. This makes the timing much easier, but is optional. The only other thing you need is to be on your stasis subclass, and you need to have the Shatter Dive aspect equipped. Once those pieces are all set, you're ready to start shatter skating. The actual execution is similar to with the Warlock. Position yourself about 4 to 5 meters back from an edge that is flat with no obstructions in front of it. Make sure you have heavy ammo. Once positioned, pull out your sword and heavy swing. Before you get to the end of the ledge, you're going to jump and then immediately shatter dive. The timing of the jump and shatter dive are very close together. When practicing, start with getting comfortable pulling out the sword and using the Eager Edge perk. Once comfortable, put in the jump and make sure you're at a distance where you're jumping right before the edge. Finally, add in the shatter dive right after the jump. Practice the initial steps, adding each piece along the way. Again, once you have the timing down, you will start to become more consistent. I will usually practice until I can skate 5 times in a row, and then you're ready to try it in other content. Shatter skating is usually easier than well skating because the timing seems more forgiving, and if you make a mistake, you don't need to wait until you have your super again. So position yourself, swap to the sword, heavy swing, jump, then shatter dive. You should now be ready to try and well skate or shatter skate using your controller. As with everything, practice will really help you hit that timing consistently. This movement tech is a great way to get around the map quickly and really fun in any activity. Give it a try and let me know what you think.
Thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoyed the content or took any tips from the video, a thumbs up and a click of the subscribe button would be greatly appreciated. I'm really trying to grow out the channel, and this would really help. Until next time, and keep pushing this game to its limits, Guardians.